The trigger for setting Youth Off the Streets up originally was I got money to set up a facility from DOCDS, and it was supposed to be for targeting chronically homeless. So no rules, no bedtimes. If they are drugged or drunk, please come home, and you've got to go to bed, but you're really vulnerable when you're drugged or drunk.
The schools that we have are very different from mainstream schools. Obviously the young ones who come to us have come from mainstream, and for that particular time in their life it just hasn't fitted. Their needs haven't been able to be met in mainstream.
Street kids and education, they don't go together to a large extent, but they know it's their way out of the cycle of poverty. They know that at their heart, in their heart of hearts, they know that unless they get an education, they're going nowhere.
When we're working with the schools, we endeavour to complement the other facets of Youth Off the Streets. Quite often, one of the gentlemen in the Streetwalk program will recommend a young person to come to one of our schools. Some of our students at different times might need to use our drug and alcohol program. In the Southern Highlands, children in the residential programs down there attend Matthew Hogan's school. Our drug and alcohol program, our accommodation at Don Bosco House, quite often some of the students attend Don Bosco House and have accommodation there, and that complements the school programs. We have Key College, which began in 1996, named appropriately because Father saw that Key College was a key to a better life for all the young ones who we work with. Then we have Matthew Hogan, that's down in the Southern Highlands. It's a fantastic school down there for children who are in our residential care. Then we have Chapel School at Marylands. And then we have our newest school, which is at Eden at Macquarie Fields.
Each of our schools is very different. Southern Highlands had DOCDS kids who had multiple needs. Marylands responds to a lot of the ethnic communities, kids who often carry knives to school, involved in violent crimes, that sort of group. And again, our teachers have engaged them in an incredible way.
Many people ask what makes Youth Off the Streets different from other schools. And we work with a lot of young ones who exhibit very, very inappropriate behaviour.
The Dunlea program is a day drug and alcohol program, and we have young people come here who are working through their drug and alcohol issues. They can self-refer, they can be referred by other people, and they get casework support, they do groups, and they do counselling here. We have young people that really have struggled to work through their drug and alcohol issues because of their mental health issues or because of trauma in their life that they haven't worked through. So we engage the young people in counselling and really support them to work through their issues, and we find that can assist them to cut back on their drug and alcohol use. Some of the young people that attend our drug and alcohol program are homeless, and they will come in and get a good feed and some casework and some support to try and get them into a refuge, but also the issues that they're working through they can get stuck in a cycle where they might get support but then end up back on the streets. So actually assisting them to work through their issues can get them onto a more positive path and keep them off the streets.
Streetwalk focuses on some of the young people who are spending time up to the age of 21, 22, who are spending time around the city that don't have a place to stay or are disconnected from their family. That's why they're not going home. Part of the aim of Streetwalk is to meet the young people at the point of where they are, and if they're out there on the street, is to be out there and meet up with the young people and take them off the street and assist them either to return back to their homes or to assist them to get into refuges. With Streetwalk, we have 2 beds that are designated as crisis beds at Don Bosco House at the refuge. This enables me to take a young person off the streets very quickly and put them into a refuge, put them into accommodation. From there, from Don Bosco House, the young people are then able to access a lot more of the other services, such as the drug and alcohol service, such as Key College, such as counselling services and family services.
One particular student might be at one of our schools and they will need to network in with another mainstream school. They can be supported through our scholarship program, or they can be supported through one of our outreach or integration workers.
Outreach is an entry-level program, and from outreach, as we get to know the young people, we can work with them at another level. Often that's one-on-one. It might be providing legal support, or it might be helping them to re-engage into education. It could be a range of things. But we also run small group activities. It might be young mums groups, young dads groups. We've got alcohol and other drugs groups. Depending on the needs of the time, we'll aim to either do it ourselves or work in partnership with other organisations to provide some service for young people. Our model of outreach is reaching out to the young people in need from different communities. In southwest Sydney, we work in the Campbelltown area, currently in Macquarie Fields, Ayres and Rosemeadow. And we put on a program that means that we engage with young people in their environment, in their time frame, and gives them access to youth workers and us access to young people.
The majority of young people that access our service in Griffith are from Pacific Islander and Aboriginal background. We do have a Pacific Islander youth worker and an Aboriginal youth worker. So I think a lot of these young people that are in need of support or assistance access our service because they're able to identify and relate to these young youth workers. Seeing the young people when they first come to the service, in particular our young girls who have really low self-esteem, after a couple of months of attending are quite articulate and outgoing because they're given information as to how they can improve their lives and be more confident within themselves.
When I first started with Youth Off the Streets, I worked as the Aboriginal liaison youth worker within the schools. Father's got 4 schools, and I had to go around and talk to especially the Indigenous kids about about culture and about respect. And it's great to see that an organisation has got everything into one organisation. So with the counselling, with drug and alcohol, with the schools, and with the outreach program, with residential. I've worked in this field for 10 years and I haven't seen other agencies do that, and it's great that yachts can do all of that and they've got their finger in every pie. Last year we had one kid, the first child in his family, go through to get his year 12, and that was a great success. In the beginning of the year he wasn't going to school, and we set some goals for him, at least 10 4-days a week, and then by the end of the year he was going every day, and his grades picked up and his family was rapt that he was able to do all of that. So being the first one to get his HSC was a big honour for him, and the family was that proud. We had a big presentation night and everything for him, and they were over the moon. So just seeing that small achievements was awesome.
Youth Off the Streets runs residential services for young people. The continuum of care that we provide services for is the last stop before young people fall out of the system. Youth Off the Streets provides services for young people who are not able to reside safely in the community and have often been in foster care placements that have broken down. So we do provide services for fairly troubled, traumatised young people, and our staff have to be specialist youth workers trained in dealing with trauma and dealing with young people who have been through a fairly lengthy stay in the system. So we offer residential services with psychology teams attached to them, so they have counselling available to them, youth workers who have superior training who can manage behaviours that can be antisocial sometimes. Don Bosco House has been operating the longest of any of our residential services. It's a crisis refuge in the city, and it does actually offer services to young people who are the most marginalised, often young people who are using substances and are unable to be accepted into other youth refuges because of the risk that they pose to themselves and others. We also run a program for young people with sexual offending behaviour. New Pathways is a residential treatment facility. We have 3 houses on that particular property and can match staff and young people as far as personalities and compatibility if they're living together. Generally our young people are able to attend school and are within a reasonable driving distance to community activities and recreation. So we're not isolating them, I guess. We're giving them a little bit of downtime and less distractions to focus on managing their behaviour.
Because we're going to keep growing, the need out there is getting worse and worse, it's not getting better. I do ask people to really take these kids into your heart, I guess, and believe that with the right surroundings and the right upbringing, we can actually change these lives and in the long term save millions. So it's about believing that these kids have had it really tough, but with the right environment we can fix things up and heal it.